This is Support is Sexy, episode 316, and we're continuing our series on Why Are You Hiding? Today's topic, fear of success. Welcome to Support is Sexy. I'm your host, Elayne Fluker, entrepreneur, author, and founder of Chic Rebellion Media. 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, I interview inspiring women entrepreneurs who share their wins and their lessons to help you take your business and your life to the next level and create something sexy. Here we go. Hi, everyone. Welcome to a new episode of Support is Sexy. I'm excited to have you here. You know, it just would not be the same without you. Honestly, I am thrilled to have you here. And we are continuing our series this week on Why Are You Hiding? We've been asking the question each and every day and going over what some of the symptoms are of hiding, things that'll indicate to you that you could be possibly hiding and playing it small in your business and in your life. So yesterday we talked about fear of failure. Today we're talking about fear of success. And this is something that might seem counterintuitive, like it doesn't make sense. Who would be afraid of success? Well, a lot of us are, and we don't realize it. We all have our hangups and reasons why we might be avoiding the spotlight, even though there might be a part of us that wants the spotlight. It's one of those things that you have to just, as we've been doing all week, check in with yourself, see if this is what's going on, confront it, and move through it. So we're talking about the fear of success. Now, one of the signs that you might be having a fear of success is that you're afraid of public scrutiny. Being in the spotlight, you know, that spotlight, it can get hot. It's a beautiful thing to be in the light, to stand in your light. But that light can get hot. If you've actually ever been on stage, speaking, singing, kids recital, whatever it is, you know when the spotlight is on you, it's nice and warm at first. But if you just stand in it, it can literally get hot. And for us, figuratively, standing in that spotlight, getting out in front, knowing that all eyes are going to be on you for whatever amount of time, whatever you're creating, you're calling attention to, because you have to get out there to talk about your business and tell what you're up to. That means you're going to be in the proverbial spotlight, and that could get hot. And that could lead to you being afraid of scrutiny. What are people going to say about me when I'm in that spotlight? Do I have the right clothing? Do I have the right hair? The right education? The right thing to say? Will I know what to say? Am I going to mess up? What are they going to think of me? We can have all of these fears, which are very real and sometimes not valid fears that these are things that are wrong with you or that you should worry about, but we're human. There are things that might run through our minds at one point or another. We all want to present ourselves in the best way and feel confident when standing in that spotlight, but we might have moments of insecurity. The thing is, you cannot let the fear of public scrutiny stop you from being in the light and for loving the light. You got to soak it all in. Enjoy that spotlight. You're not doing it necessarily for attention or just for attention, or maybe you are. No judgment if you are, but I know you, and I have a feeling you're not doing this just for attention. You're up to something big. You're creating something sexy. You want to bring attention to it. You want the world to know about it. To do that, you know that you need to get out front. You know that you need to be the one to share the story. Maybe you've been depending on someone else all of this time. I spoke about this in my past experience of standing in the back. No, it's not about me. It's about the business. Yeah, it's about the business. But if people are asking about you, asking who's behind the business, really, if there's a way for them to really connect with you and your story and how it relates to the business, you got to get out there and get in the spotlight and tell your story. You cannot be afraid of what other people think. And the people who don't get it, those ain't your people. The people who get it are the people who you want to pay attention to. If people are giving you feedback on something, great. Feedback is just information. You take it in, you decide what's valuable to you and what isn't. But don't let it stop you from being in the spotlight because you're afraid of the scrutiny. Another reason that we might have fear of success is something that we spoke about earlier in the week on episode 313, Imposter syndrome. We get into the spotlight, we're out there, we're out in front, and then we start having these fears of, oh my goodness, they're going to find out that I don't really know what I'm doing, which most of us don't know what we're doing completely. We all have our specialties, we all have our things that we know, but there's going to be times, there's a first time for everyone, right? No matter what your business is or what the person that you admire, no matter what their business is, everyone started from somewhere. Every expert was once a novice. So you got to understand that for you, you're going to start from somewhere. There's going to be things that you know, and there's going to be things that you don't know. But don't let your fear of being quote unquote found out keep you from getting out there and telling about your business and what you're up to. Don't let that be the reason that you have a fear of success. You are not a fraud. You are not an imposter. You're up to something. You're passionate about it. You are, as we spoke about earlier this week, an expert of your own experiences. So make sure that you are confident in yourself and in that way and knowing that you have something to offer. You are there because you are meant to be there. Another symptom of having a fear of success, being afraid that you won't be able to sustain it once you gain it. Like that? Fear that you won't be able to sustain it once you gain it. So if you reach a certain amount of money, say, for example, in a year, if your goal for however many years has been to hit $1 million in a year, and then you reach that point and all of a sudden you're terrified that what if I can't repeat this next year? What if I can't hold on to this money? Fear, scarcity mindset is really what that is. Or what if I can't keep doing these speaking engagements? What if I can't keep it up? So you sort of hold yourself back from really hitting that goal because you're afraid that you won't be able to maintain, whether you're afraid of letting yourself down or you're afraid of letting other people down. Either way, you might find yourself crippling your dream, stopping yourself from moving forward in the way that you can as powerfully as you can because you're afraid that you might lose it when you get it. Don't let that scarcity mindset get in there and keep you from moving forward, from being your best self. Don't let it keep you hiding because you have that fear of success that if you reach that point, will you be able to keep that thing going? So don't let that fear hold you back. Another reason we might have that fear of success, sort of like not being able to sustain it, you might be afraid that once you reach that goal, you'll look around and you'll be asking yourself, now what? Now what do I do? Now what is the goal? Do I go bigger? What if I go bigger and I can't reach that next goal? Sometimes I've heard people talk about very successful people say they get everything they want, everything they dreamt of, and then they feel like, well, now what? What do I do? Am I not relevant because I'm not pursuing this thing anymore? Especially people who, whatever they're doing has been their life's work. You know, sometimes you've heard about or met people who have known exactly what they wanted to do from the time they were 3 years old, and then they finally reached that moment, and it should be the grandest moment ever, and it's sort of a identity crisis for them. They're not really sure what the next thing should be because this has been it for so long. So for you, if you are close to that goal or you've reached that goal and you're looking around and you're saying, now what? It's okay to take a moment to consider, now what? What is the next thing for you? Are you continuing in this business with what you're doing and what you're being successful in? Are you doing something else? Are you reinventing? Is there a new way to challenge yourself, a new exciting thing that you can do around this business or in something else? There will always be a way for you to continue to grow, right? If you're not growing, you're dying and you want to continue growing. So don't be afraid that once you reach whatever that goal is, that you're going to look around and not know what else to do. Instead, embrace the idea of being able to look around and say, now what, as opposed to being afraid of that. Sometimes we can hold ourselves back, hide, play it small because we don't really want to reach that goal, or we do. We say we do, we get closer to it, but once we see the finish line in sight, we get afraid because we're not sure what that next race is going to be. You embrace the idea of looking around and saying, now what? That's a good place to be in, looking around and saying, now what? And the final reason that I want to share about us sometimes having a fear of success, and this is a very real one. I've been through this in some ways. You have a fear of leaving people behind. Have you ever encountered that problem? Whether it's childhood friends, family, anyone that might not be on the same page and not the same level. That's very different. It's not saying that we're on a different level than someone else. Just on some different-ish, right? In case you're listening with the kids around, just on something different. You might be up to something different, or all of your friends or people or family might not be entrepreneurs and you're an entrepreneur and you've got this good job and they don't understand what you're doing or why you're doing it. Or they might not be into personal development as much as you're into personal development. You all know I love Lisa Nichols. I talk about her often on the show, and she has been open and transparent about with her family, who she loves and adores, how they're not into the same things that she's into. So when she's at the family barbecue, they're not talking about meditation and that kind of thing. They're talking about what's on the grill or whatever else is going on with the family. So don't be afraid that if you succeed, you have to leave some people behind. Now, as I've said on previous episodes, everybody can't come. There will be some people who choose to stay behind, or there will be some people whom you choose to separate from for whatever reason. Sometimes you have to do that in order to make whatever happen that you're doing. You have to be focused. You have to be ready to cut out all distractions, especially if people are a distraction. You have to be ready to cut out distractions, focus on your goal, move forward, not cold, just focused. And everyone doesn't understand that when you get in that mode. Everybody doesn't understand when you're on something new. Everybody doesn't understand when they think that you quote unquote have it good, or from the outside you have it all, but now you're trying to do this new thing. Why would you disrupt things? Everybody doesn't understand when you want to do something different or be someone different. It makes other people uncomfortable. Some people who love you and get it and want you to just do you, they're there for you. Those are the people you want to surround yourself with. But other people who may not understand might be the people that you have to lovingly release for this time in your life, so that you don't have this fear of success about leaving them behind, so that you don't have this hang up, this baggage really, that keeps holding you back because you're so stuck on this idea that you don't want to leave that person, you don't want to abandon that person, you don't want to hurt that person's feelings. You know what? When you reach that higher level, when you reach that success, when you're doing that thing that you really wanted to do and you're happy and content and looking around and saying, and now what? Your now what might be about looking back at that person and saying, how can I help move this person forward? How can I share what I know now with this person or with these people? Who knows? You don't know. The thing that you do know in the moment, don't be afraid of moving forward because you don't want to leave people behind. Those folks are grown. They make their own decisions. You make your decision, what's best for you. You love them, you care about them, but you have to love you and move forward for yourself. You get your one life. You don't want to have that fear of success because you're allowing yourself to hold on to something in the past and trying to drag it into the future. Be present, be now, be focused on moving forward and not hiding. All right, so these are just some of the things. There's a lot of different reasons, and I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. What are some of the reasons that you think either you have or you've seen other people have? Actually, don't talk about other people. What are some of the reasons that you feel like you might be having a fear of success? Let me know at Elayne Fluker and at Support is Sexy on social media. I would love to hear from you, hear your opinions about this. What are some of the things that I didn't mention? There's a lot of others, but these were the things that really came to mind for me. Honestly, for me personally, and then thinking about other people that I've spoken to and other experiences that I've heard about. That fear of success is real. It doesn't make logical sense or intellectual sense, but it is real. There are reasons that some of us are afraid to get in that spotlight. We just have to face it, realize that we're hiding, and move beyond it. Because the feeling on the other side of that spotlight, after you're in the spotlight and you go off stage, let's stick with that metaphor, there's a beauty in feeling that you came, you accomplished, you did what you said you were going to do, you stood boldly in that light, you delivered, you gave your all. That is a beautiful feeling, and that is what we want. I want that for you, to have that feeling of accomplishment, that you moved forward, that you didn't hide, that you stood in the light, and you moved on in spite of all your fears. That is what real courage is. That is what bravery is. Yes, you're going to be afraid of these things. As you hear me mention when I talk about them, I try to stress that they're normal. These insecurities and fears, we all get them. The most famous people in the world get them. The most talented people in the world, the most successful, who we think have it all. Some of them talk about being sick before they go on stage. So you never know what people are going through or feeling. The thing that you do know and that you see is that they show up. So I want you to show up. You have to show up, especially for yourself. And actually, that leads perfect segue into something that I want to make sure I share with you before I let you go. We are doing a 90-day challenge. Well, first of all, can you believe 90 days until the end of 2017? As of Monday, October 2nd, if you're listening to this in real time, there will be 90 days left in 2017. So what I'm doing is a free challenge. Join us, get in the Facebook group. I'm going to send you a motivational video every week to get you going, get you motivated, talk about different topics, a challenge for you to accomplish your goal in 90 days. We all have these lingering goals. I know you do. I certainly do. Things that we wanted to do this year, and it's sort of, I don't know what happened. The year just went. It's gone. But we still have time to make those goals happen. So if you have some dreams or goals on your list, something that you really want to do and you want to be focused on it, the next 90 days, get some support around it. This is the challenge for you. So I want you to go to 90days2nextlevel.com. So that's the number 90 days, then 2 nextlevel.com. 90 days to nextlevel.com. Just enter your email. I'll send you a welcome message, and I'll also send you the link to join the Facebook group. A completely free challenge, something that I thought about that'd be really fun and empowering to do at the end of the year. And this goes back to what I mentioned, keeping a promise to yourself and showing up for yourself. You want to make sure you show up for yourself. That is really the sexiest support that's out there. Other people showing up to you is fantastic, and we want that. We need that in our lives. We need that connection. But how are you showing up for yourself? Are you sitting back and waiting for a savior as opposed to support? What you want to do is make sure that you are supporting yourself. You are a moving train that other people want to get behind. Other people want to get on that train and help you keep moving forward. So show up for yourself. And I want to make sure you're able to do that. So we're going to do this 90-day challenge. You'll get accountability. You're going to declare your goal. We're starting it and kicking it off full on Monday, but get in the group now. Introduce yourself. Tell us what you're excited about. But we're going to declare our goals, support each other around it over the next 90 days, and feel really amazing on the other side of that spotlight after we've accomplished that goal. So 90 days to nextlevel.com. Make sure you check that out. And now the last thing before you go, last week, I don't think we read a review, so I want to make sure we stay on track with that. Going to share a review with you from one of our lovely listeners of Support is Sexy. So we're going to read one from Jazz on Citrine, and she gave a 5-star review. Thank you. You know, I appreciate that. And Jazz says, I absolutely love your shows. Let me tell you, I listened to an episode, did not subscribe, and the content haunted me so I dug and dug until I found you. Well, thank you, Jazz. I appreciate that. I'm so glad that it haunted you and you dug and dug. I do hope, though, that you subscribe by now so that you don't miss an episode. You know, we're here for you 5 days a week. We got series going on. We got challenges and courses, all kinds of good stuff, including the fabulous interviews with women entrepreneurs around the world. So you want to make sure you subscribe. Everyone else listening, make sure that you subscribe so that you don't miss a thing. But Jazz on Citrine, I really appreciate your review. Thank you so much for your feedback, and I'm glad you love the show. It's what it's all about. I'm glad it's doing something for you. All right, so thank you all so much for listening. Come back tomorrow. We're going to close out our series on Why Are You Hiding? Again, let me know what you're up to, what kind of fears you're facing, why you think you might be hiding at Support is Sexy, at Elayne Fluker. And until then, you know what to do. Go out there and create something sexy, and I'll talk to you soon. Take care.